Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that. There was a delay or froze or something. So let me go back in and invite Andrea back on. Again, she is our attorney who sits on our advisory board for Majestic Hearts. So let's get her back in here so she can continue. Hey, Mad! So she can continue telling you guys what she does. So, excuse me. Madeline is our treasurer, guys. She's working behind the scenes today. So, all right, let's go, Andrea. Okay. Andrea. All right, guys, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Technology can be a gift and a curse all at the same time, so just okay. Hey, Carmian, how are you? All right, well, while we wait for Andrea to get back on, all right. So thank you for sharing, Rochelle. Yes, you guys copy and paste the link and invite people in to watch this webinar with us. Again, this is Kenesha L. Jackson, CEO of Majestic Hearts, a nonprofit organization for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. So I'm just waiting for our attorney to get back on. I'm not sure what's wrong. Thanks, Carmian. I appreciate it. Yes, we're rocking and rolling over here as we combat sexual assault and domestic violence. Okay, we're just going to move on until Andrea gets a chance to get back on. So, because we're getting behind schedule a little bit. So, let's see. What's next here? Okay, so our why for this webinar is to educate the community about ways to prevent and escape sexual assault and domestic violence. Sometimes we are not in control, or for lack of better words, we're surprised by sexual assault, I should say, considering that, you know, there are times where much of the sexual assault is an attack. But however, there are times where sexual assault is brought on by someone who's close to us, like a family member or a friend. So ways to get around that, you know, we definitely want to raise awareness and provide insight and ways to get out of situations such as sexual assault and domestic violence. So I just want to read a statistic right quick. Okay, so this comes from bestcolleges.com. And it does say that the vast majority of sexual assaults go unreported and unpunished. RAINN reports that nearly 70% of victims don't inform the police, and that a mere 25% of reported assaults eventually result in an arrest. So that's very alarming. And again, statistics are not always accurate. They're not accurate, considering that the statistics are derived from reported data. So there is some data out there that is not part of the statistics because people are too afraid to report, as just mentioned there in the statistics that I read. So we want to educate the community, provide ways of prevention, as well as provide safety and law tips and coping mechanisms for victims and survivors of sexual assault. Okay, so I just saw Andrea. It looks like she's, yes, so let's get her back on. Andrea, I'm coming for you, girl. And thank you for coming back on.
Okay, can you hear me?
Thank you for coming back on.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, I still can't hear you. Okay, go ahead. Just go ahead.
I'm gonna talk. Hopefully everyone else can hear me. If anybody
honey,
out there can hear me,
saying. This is
send
terrible.
Me. If y'all can hear me, send me a
yes, go ahead.
You can hear me. Can you hear me?
Okay, so let me just move forward with the questions here. All right, so is there any protection for victims of sexual assault in a sexual assault, or excuse me, as it pertains to law?
So there, like I was saying earlier, there's two, I categorize sexual assault victims in two different categories. There's a sexual assault that happens when a girl is running down, or a male is running down the street and a stranger comes and attacks her and victimizes her. And there's sexual assault that happens in a domestic violence relationship. So for the first category, for both categories actually, you should always contact the police, always contact 911 if you've been a victim of sexual assault. The doctor that's after me probably can explain more of the rape kits that are provided to sexual assault victims. But for the first category, so if somebody you don't know, the law enforcement will take care of it. And so a prosecutor in your county will decide whether to prosecute that individual, gather evidence, obviously be the victim, a witness, and aid in prosecuting them in a criminal sense. Now, I practice civil litigation. And so on a civil sense, there are civil attorneys, specifically, we call them PI attorneys, but personal injury attorneys, that will bring civil charges against an individual who is sexually assaulted you, and that's for monetary gain. And not just the individual, but maybe the entity that was supposed to protect you, like the school or the workplace. So if you're sexually assaulted in the workplace, a civil attorney would help you gain monetary, I would call it vindication against an entity or that individual. And like I was saying, the most well-known case right now is the Bill Cosby cases. A lot of those people were unable to, in various states, there's various laws with statute of limitations limiting your right to bring criminal charges against somebody. But there are laws that protect you civilly. So there's a lot of females that were unable to prosecute Bill Cosby in a criminal sense, but they were able to file lawsuits in a civil sense and be vindicated in a monetary sense. For domestic violence, a family law attorney would be the person to help you, especially if there's children involved. A family law attorney would be able to assist you in getting a restraining order against that individual. Here in California, I see there's a lot of people from all over that are logged in, but here in California, here in Southern California specifically, there's the Legal Aid Society of Orange County, there's the Legal Aid Society of Los Angeles, and those different societies provide free legal aid to indigent individuals, people with low income or no income. And those entities are really great. I used to work at the one here in Orange County, and we had a family law clinic, and we would help domestic violence, or individuals that were victims of domestic violence file restraining orders.
Okay.
So, Kanisha, can you hear me? No.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I can hear you a little bit. We have I have some of my girlfriends here, so we're working it out. Okay. Well, those are very great and valid tips that you provided, and thank you so much for coming on, Andrea. Can you tell our viewers how they can get in touch with you?
Sure, they can get in touch with me. Like I said, I do employment law. So if you are sexually assaulted in the workplace, that's something that I could help you and represent you in that matter. But you are always free to contact my office at any time if you just need direction on where to go in any situation. And my firm office is 949-281-6857. Or you can contact me at ajackson@jlaw-pc.com. Kanisha has my information. And so if you ever need any type of help, if you reach out to Majestic Hearts, they will direct you my way, and I can at least send you in a direction that you need to go. Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor. Good luck and best of luck to everyone out there. And we'll see you next time.
Okay. Well, wonderful. All right. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for coming on. We appreciate you. So now we're going to move forward with the next guest here. Okay, so next we have Dr. Edmond. Let me get to her bio right quick. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and invite her on, and then I'll read her bio to you all. Give me one moment. All right, there you are, Dr. Edmond. So I hope you're watching live because I'm about to invite you in. Invite. All right, Dr. Edmond also sits on our advisory board. So let me just pull up her bio right quick. Okay, so Dr. Regina L. Edmond, MD, is an exemplary obstetrician and gynecologist in the community. As a native of Los Angeles, Dr. Edmond graduated from Washington Prep High. Her undergraduate education was completed at Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's see here. She received a Bachelor's of Science degree in biology. She then attended Michigan State University College of Human Medicine to obtain her medical degree. She returned home to Los Angeles to study obstetrics. For some reason, I could not get that word out. Listen. I love it. That's funny. Okay, and gynecology at Martin Luther King and Drew Medical Center in Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. She is currently on staff at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and has maintained a private practice in West Hollywood for the past 10 years. Dr. Edmond enjoys both private practice with community service. In addition to her stellar clinical skills, she is an accomplished surgeon specializing in there's that word again, obstetrics. Just OB. Okay, we're going to keep it short. OB, because clearly I can't get it together. And procedures that promote gynecologic health. She enjoys opportunities to teach and empower women. She has been invited to speak to people of all ages, from elementary school students to college students and countless adults at churches and private events. Her most recent community involvement was at the KJLH Women's Expo, which actually was yesterday, where she is a recurring guest. So she speaks there every year, guys. She spoke about cancer prevention and health maintenance. In addition to her extensive formal education, Dr. Edmonds spends her time studying alternative and integrative approaches to healing. Now I'm real beautiful right now. That's the brains and beauty, okay? Brains and beauty. I'm just so beautiful. Okay. She believes there's a way to heal any ailment. She incorporates nutritional, emotional, and social factors as part of her holistic approach to individualized care for her patients. And she's a mother, a teacher, a doctor, mentor, community activist, and a woman committed to sharing what she knows to uplift others. So without further ado, let's get Dr. Edmond on. Dr. Edmond, I've invited you in, love. Let's see. Where are you? Hey, Dan. Hey, Jantine. You guys go ahead and share this video if you can. I appreciate you for stopping by. Okay, Dr. Edmond, where are you, love? Okay. Let me send her a text. Okay, guys, so while we wait for Dr. Edmond, I want to invite you all to head over to our website at www.majestic-hearts.com. That's www.majestic-hearts.com. I will go ahead and input it in the comments. We are accepting donations as of now. Our current goal this year is to raise $50,000 to go toward our first two programs, which are counseling and shelter. We have two of our therapists here physically with us. Yes, there they are. So they'll be coming on briefly to speak to you all. Yeah, so let's get this mission going so we can help convert victims into survivors, okay? So I'm not sure where Dr. Edmond is. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to move along because we are on a time schedule and I need to keep moving forward so I can get these beautiful ladies in and out because they are busy, busy, busy. So now I will go ahead and invite on our two beautiful therapists who are in the house today. Wendy Talley and Veronica Higgins. I'm going to invite Shavonna Gaylor on as well. She's on our advisory board. However, I know she is in Canada today, so
she actually just posted. She's in Chicago.
Did. Okay. No. Okay, so she may have time to jump on. But
she said that her phone.
Okay.
They can't get in.
Oh. Okay. 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 All right. Well, we will catch Shavonna later. Then I hope you're having I can't say a good time if you're stuck in Chicago. That's not good. But safe travels anyway. I hope you guys get there okay. So come on up, Wendy and Veronica. Yes. So I'm going to pull pull up their bios here. Let me get to it. All right, let's see. Let's situate this so I can see both of you ladies.
We can get
these
we like each other. We can get close.
Look at these beautiful faces. Look at this. All right.
share.
Yes.
Share.
Okay, share the link if you're watching. Thank you for watching live. We appreciate you so much. All right, so we're going to start with Wendy, who's this beautiful sister sitting right next to me. Wendy T. Talley is a licensed clinical social worker, CEO of Delise Consulting Group, LLC, a transformational speaker, founder of KW Essential Services and Black Speakers Rock. Wendy has been in private practice since 2009 in Los Angeles, California. She started her own practice at KW Essential Services in 2015 with her trusted business partner. Starting with no clients, then growing to a practice of over 200 clients, Wendy has learned valuable tools and scale her business. KW Essential Services has exceptional clinicians on staff, which include an LMFT, an LCSW, an ASW, and psychologists. In developing a thriving private practice, she thought outside of the box and took risks that increased revenue. Wendy's mission is to break the mental chains of self-help entrepreneurs and professionals so they can live their destinies on purpose. Wendy Talley is the author of her new book, Smart Goals and Time Management. Welcome, Wendy. All right, and to the left of Wendy is our beautiful therapist. Is that good? Okay, our beautiful therapist, Veronica Higgins. So I'm going to read her short bio as well. Excuse me, guys. Okay, so Veronica Clanton Higgins, MSW, is an author, educator, life coach, motivational speaker, and CEO of BCH Prosperity Consulting. A native of Compton, California, CPT. Okay, Veronica is known for her community advocacy, support, and healing of women, and youth mentorship. Veronica started BCH Prosperity Consulting in 2016 to address the social, emotional, and spiritual needs of women in her community. Her unique style of life coaching is a combination of empowerment, motivation, and inspiration. She has made it her life's purpose to improve the lives of others by helping them discover their self-worth through the use of mindfulness and self-affirming techniques. Veronica promotes change through education. She created SOS, Squad of Survivors, a 9-week program that promotes healing through the Sisterhood Collective. Veronica uses this method because healing is more effective when you have a strong support system, as it is. Veronica's work also includes a research study in collaboration with California State University Long Beach and the March of Dimes, which focused on reducing stress in African American women through the use of psychoeducation. During her free time, Veronica enjoys writing. Her works include a thought processing journal, 10 Steps to Happy, a planner for women in business, Goal Digger, Planner of the Business Diva, or Planner for the Business Diva, and a stress reduction coloring book called Girl Just Color. So without further ado, I would like to, you guys give a round of applause for these two beautiful women. Yes. Okay, so, all right. Okay, turn it a little bit because we just cut Veronica out. Bow. Yeah. Ooh, it's about to turn. All right,
We
Sean.
gonna get it right. We gonna get it right.
Yes. Okay, that's
Now it's
perfect.
perfect.
Okay, that was our lovely CFO, Rochelle. You guys will meet
She's
her
amazing.
soon. She'll be on shortly. All right, so let's jump right into things. So first, did I miss anything? Do you ladies want to add anything else about yourselves?
We're happy to be here.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much. I
You're doing
appreciate
such an
you.
amazing job
Yes,
with
you
this
are.
organization and showing a lot of awareness.
Thank you.
I'm also a survivor of domestic violence myself,
Yes.
and it's something that we just really need to consistently keep at the forefront of
Yes.
everyone's mind. That
Absolutely.
if you came from a woman, you on this planet.
Mhm.
You need to respect that. At
Right.
the end of the day, you don't
Absolutely.
harm where you come from. You don't harm your
That
first
part.
home.
Yes.
So
Yes. I love that. Well said.
yeah.
So, okay, well, you ladies, go ahead. I'll let you start first, Wendy. You go ahead and introduce yourself briefly, and then we'll move into the questions.
Well, you've pretty much said it.
I covered it.
You covered it, Miss Diva. Yes, you did.
Okay, good.
But just wanted to continue to highlight of what I do. Like she said, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've been licensed now since 2009. I've been in practice for the last, it'll be 18 years on May 11th.
Woo!
Absolutely. And I am a Trojan USC.
Yes.
So I'm sorry for anyone else that didn't go there, but that's okay.
That's
That's
okay.
my alma mater. It's my
Okay.
alma mater.
All right,
In my
we're all
head. In my
USC.
head.
Yeah.
That's all right being
That
your
Trojan
head.
love.
And I will be going back to school next Monday. Not this Monday coming up, but next Monday I start my doctoral program.
Look at that. Then we gonna be saying Dr. Wendy.
Yes. I'm
Put that
excited.
DR in the front. Okay?
Yes.
Absolutely. And also too, just with the creator being Black Speakers Rock,
Yes.
you guys know
Yes.
that. Follow
Yes.
you are a speaker, writer, or coach. Hey, I just literally dropped 2 mornings ago my very first book ever.
Yes.
I'm excited. So please go to Amazon. It's on Amazon, y'all.
Smart goals.
Yes, Smart Goals Time Management. Go
Yes.
pick it up. Type in my name, Wendy Talley, Talley.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, type that in. Get that. Definitely love for the support. So thank you
Yes,
again, Nisha, for
wonderful.
having us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you
kitty.
for coming. And Veronica, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, aside from myself, I'm also a Trojan. Fight on. And currently, I am an educator. I work as a clinical facilitator. I teach different therapists, different treatment modalities, and do different strategies and topics and techniques as well. And I also have my book on Amazon.
Look at these authors.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of my books are on Amazon as well. And I'm a research-based person. If you ever have conversations with me, I like to incite thoughts and have conversations that impact change. And so I'm also in my 3rd year of my doctoral program.
Yeah.
And I will be reaching out to some people because I will need some research participants. My dissertation is on the social constructs of beauty on African American females.
Beautiful.
And so basically my bio summed it up. I love doing community work. You'll always see me in a community doing different things, volunteering for different things, because it's all about the work. So I put action behind my words.
Yes.
She does.
Yes.
And I'm just so happy to be here with my mentor.
Yes. Yes. Our mentor.
And my sis right
Yes. Yes.
The bond. I want to finish crying.
Yes. Listen, you guys, please follow this woman here, both of them. But Wendy has her I Want to Finish Crew mentoring coaching program, and it's amazing. Veronica and I were definitely students of that, along with another young lady. And we just finished last week. And
We finished,
y'all. We finished.
Product,
Okay.
project,
Yes. And it was a wonderful, wonderful coaching group. So you guys check that out. She's about to open up another group soon, right?
Yes, the next group will be starting June 9th,
Mhm.
and we're going intense, we're going hardcore. Definitely, I will be launching that next week. So
Yes.
you only got a very short window to get in there. Yeah, you gotta sign up. It's the truth.
Get in there.
If you wanna get your business going, if you wanna get your projects off the shelf, if you're trying to talking about, oh, I wish I could have finished this. People need you to finish their projects as well. You just want to finish because the last time you finished anything is when you graduated from school.
Yeah.
But you now can't finish anything. You need to get with me so we can go ahead and get you finished,
Right.
get you
Get it
going,
done.
get you successful. That's why this is happening. Hey, I finished my book, so if I'm doing it, I'm following my own stuff.
Yes,
Yes.
I gotta do it.
Yes.
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 Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the questions.
Please.
Okay, so let's see. This question I'm gonna direct to you, Veronica. So, how can one recognize sexual assault?
So when you're around someone, a loved one, a friend, or a family member, and you notice specific signs, it may mean that either they are a victim of sexual assault or maybe domestic violence as well. Isolation. If you notice that they're isolating
Yes.
themselves,
Yeah.
not coming out like they used to, not going to certain places like they used to. If you notice that someone who's pretty confident before, and then all of a sudden they're covering up themselves
Yes.
more,
Yeah.
they're starting to have a little bit of low self-esteem, things of
Head
that
down.
nature.
Yes.
Head
Yes.
down, right, because they don't want to draw attention to themselves. Another indicator is a change in certain habits.
Yes.
So if you notice that someone is drinking more, or maybe they're starting to engage in drug use,
Yes.
and they weren't doing that before.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe signs of depression, because those who are victims of sexual assault or domestic violence, or both, because sexual assault can occur within
Yes.
a domestic violence situation. You will also notice that they also exhibit signs of depression. So maybe they're not eating as much. Maybe they're overeating, because some people are emotional eaters.
I stopped eating.
You
in my
stopped eating.
situation, Yeah.
I stopped eating as well. I was in a domestic violence relationship for 8 years, and sexual assault did occur within my relationship.
Yeah.
And so you'll start to notice subtle changes within their personality that is not equivalent to something else. So you'll notice that they're covering up themselves more.
Yeah.
They may not want to leave the house, or maybe wherever the incident occurred, or whoever perpetrated the incident, you'll notice their behavior changes around that person or that area as well. And so when you start to notice things like that, you might just want to put the light bulb on in your head and try to engage that person in conversation. Sometimes if you come out directly and say, oh, were you assaulted?
Right.
That might make them withdraw.
Yes.
Just tell them that you noticed some behavior changes and you were concerned, and let them know that you're there for them, and give them time to open up and process.
Ain't she a mom?
Wonderful. Yes. That's wonderful. Well said. Very
Office
well
in my
said.
practice. So
Yes.
look her up. She was right. She got her own office in my room.
Very well said, Veronica. Thank you so much for that. And Wendy, what are some coping strategies men, women, and children can utilize after being sexually assaulted?
Well, and I always carry notes. I try not to go off kilter. That's just not. That's why they have books. Right. That's why they have books and journals, so you can have the
It's all right. It's all right.
Write it down.
Okay.
Go ahead, Wendy.
But no, for real, on coping strategies of sexual, because I'm also a victim of sexual assault, and I pretty much saw my perpetrator, the person that assaulted me on my birthday,
Oh,
on a date, and I saw him consistently over and over and over again, and how folks, you want to be able to do this, because I wasn't able to do this, in the beginning, was get therapy. I know I'm a therapist, but no, seriously, for those of us of a darker hue, okay,
Right.
we're talking to you in the room, okay, or a mixture of, please understand, just because you go to therapy does not mean you're crazy.
Right.
We need to be able to talk about the trauma that you experienced. You got to be able to talk about that. You need to have someone help you learn those coping skills that technically are already in you.
Right.
And I tell
That's
people
right.
all the time, therapy is not a magic pill. It's no magic wand. We're not gods here. But what it is we're going to stand next to you and dig out all of that junk that's on top of all of your positive coping skills, so that they can be able to serve, because you have the answer. So definitely go to therapy.
Yes.
Another wonderful thing is that you got to have a positive social environment. After an assault, just like Veronica was saying, they become isolated. You don't want to be around. You start to cover yourself. But when you are around your family and your friends that love you and support you, that won't re-victimize you,
Yes.
and you're still engaged. I want you. I'm a teacher at heart. write down this word, type it in, engage. You have to engage yourself consistently in the regular world so that you don't find yourself falling into that downward spiral, that rabbit hole of depression and anxiety and all of that. Will those things happen? Yes.
Yeah.
However, but as long as you stay engaged, what will happen is you'll stay connected and present, and you'll be able to go through therapy and working through this trauma over time so it does not handicap you.
Yeah.
Another thing is to family and friends, understand if someone says that they have been sexually assaulted, please validate their feelings.
Right.
Do not say, oh girl, you tripping, or that really didn't happen, where you misinterpreted. That is very normal emotions that they are experiencing after a trauma. So validate their experiences, because those things are real, and every person don't respond to trauma the same.
Right.
So just because may Veronica have gone through a sexual assault one way and she has certain symptoms, that may not be my same symptoms, but I'm having symptoms as well. So be mindful to encourage and support those that go through things like that. And you want to validate. And I already talked about engage, and also at your job. If you feel like at your job you just can't take it, you're being extremely emotional, get with your EAP, that's part of your insurance employee assistance program, and go through therapy. Maybe you need to take some time off. Learn about your HR, laws and policies and procedures. Maybe you need to take off FMLA because you're having some medical challenges from the sexual assault. I think a lot of times, whether if you're a man or a woman, you've been sexually assaulted, we don't pay attention to our bodies and how that has been affected medically. And you're having some medical challenges and you ignore those things will continue to fester in a way that will cause you some medical challenges. So, and the last few things really quickly is relaxing techniques.
Yes.
Meditation, yoga, YouTube University got some amazing positive videos on affirmations, just listening to very, soothing music. Don't listen to the hardcore trap music or rap because you just want to get it going. I got my girl in the audience. I get it. But you know what? I know we want to feel angry. We want to go ahead and go hurt, all of that. But sometimes anger will continue to re-traumatize you because you're constantly thinking about it. Exactly. Journal your feelings. Okay, I hope you all are writing these things down, and when you do this replay all of this and write this down, because you may know somebody who could be experiencing that. But journal your experiences and your feelings, okay? Know your triggers. Those are very important. And last but not least, please, please, please do not use alcohol or drugs to mask the feelings, to push those feelings down where you don't want to feel it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to relive it. I don't want to deal with it. And so I'm going to drink. I'm going to use drugs. All drugs. I don't care what it is, legal or not. I'm going to say that. Legal or not, if you're using drugs to self-medicate those emotions and press those things down because you are traumatized by the emotion in itself, you're doing more damage. So those are some of the things that I would suggest that being able to cope.
I love that.
Yeah, that works.
Yes.
Did it work, teacher?
Yes, can I add one point?
Yes, go ahead.
And tap into your faith.
Yes.
If you're a spiritual person, you can pray and go to therapy. And I think a lot of people misconstrue that, like Wendy just touched on some wonderful points as far as therapy is concerned, but you can still tap into your faith and then visit your therapist and use both of those as well together to help you get through the ordeal.
And a lot of therapists are actually been certified in Christian or whatever your faith is, faith-based counseling. So you can actually find a therapist that's based in that, so you get a little bit of both, and you don't have to go to too many different places. Even counseling that are in the church, there's a lot of professional psychologists, social workers, marriage family therapists that are in the church that is providing those services. So don't feel like you just have to hold that in, but let's talk about it, let's get it out so it does not cause you any more pain.
Yes. And let me just add that they are praying therapists, okay?
Yes, we are.
Yes, so
Won't he do it?
Yes, he will. There's a song on the way over here called "Won't He Do It." I love it. I played it twice on the way over here. But anyway,
I got a shirt that said that shit wrote it. Yeah, the word, but
"Won't He Do It?" Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he will. Every time.
Shout out to
Yes. All right. So let's see. So Veronica, I know you guys did just touch briefly about some things that victims may deal with, like depression. Can you provide any other symptoms that males and or females most likely experience after sexual assault?
Well, essentially, just the things that we named, the depression, the isolation. And we have to also understand that men are sexually assaulted as well.
Yes, they are.
They could get sexually assaulted on campus, in jail,
Yes.
in their neighborhoods.
Yes.
So we cannot overlook them as sexual assault victims as well.
Right.
And so essentially, when we're looking at victims of sexual assaults who are externalizing certain behaviors, we have to understand that it may look different in men than it does in women.
Yes.
Right? If a man is sexually assaulted by another man, he might become hypersexual because he feels like he has to prove his manhood. He might also become angry. And we have to understand that depression is externalized differently in different people. And so sometimes in men, it might come across as anger or hostility and things of that nature. And so we also have to consider those factors when we're considering if someone has been a victim. In males, it might be a little bit more difficult if they're adult males. With children, it might be able, because they will have stomach problems, especially the males, they will have stomach problems if they were violated through their anal region. It would cause them to have stomach issues.
Right.
Just pay attention to the children and teenagers and any changes in their behavior. With adult males, it will probably be a little bit more difficult to pinpoint. But if you notice any changes or significant changes in behavior, always err on the side of caution and reach out to that person and have a conversation, or just let them know that you're there for them. And just in case they are ready to open up.
Absolutely.
Okay, I love that. Wow, that's interesting about the stomach issues
Because it's
for little
the
boys.
pressure of the
Right.
penis going into that area.
Wow.
Right. It could
That's
cause stomach
interesting.
issues.
Yeah.
I never knew that. So
Yeah.
I hope you guys are learning today because I am. So that's interesting. So let's see. So Wendy, what might people not understand about victims of sexual assault?
What they don't understand is a lot of times you hear people say, well, why didn't you report it earlier? You know, that's one of the big ones. So you're guilt tripping pretty much. You're putting a lot of guilt on the person for not reporting it right away. The initial shock could last hours, days, weeks, sometimes even months. They're just so shocked at the fact that this, actually happened. Some of the other myths is that, especially when, I'm glad you said even in a marriage, I don't know if you said it, Veronica, or you said it, Kanisha, is that in a marriage, a woman or a man can be raped. Just because they have a title of husband or wife, they can be raped by their spouse. Because no means no. Just because I am licensed to marry you and I got this ring on my finger doesn't mean that is you don't owe me, you don't, you just can't get it. Exactly.
It belongs to me.
Your body is still, your body is still your temple. Your body is something that you choose where to, take it, give it to, or whoever. It does not matter. So it's sometimes those myths of, well, that's your husband. Why would he rape you? Why would you consider that rape? You slept with him before.
Right.
That
was
could be
consensual.
Exactly. Like you mentioned, Anisha, it's just, being in a relationship with a boyfriend. Sometimes we say, well, that was your boyfriend. Why wouldn't you? Like, why would you consider that? Just because the title of the person that you're with is connected to you in a previous intimate relationship doesn't necessarily mean they cannot come out and harm you.
Right.
And I think that's something that folks need to just pretty much realize. Another big myth is that, again, we talked about, Veronica said it, not all perpetrators of sexual assault are men. There are also women, because women tend to be very power and control when you get a lot of those women that are in those positions, and they will use that against a man. And also too, for men and for women too, I think people don't really pay attention to the sex class that we took back in junior high school.
Right.
I'm sorry. Whether if a man wants it or not, his body is going to respond. So if he is having, and hopefully this is all PG for some folks, but that he's going to get an erection
Out of fear.
Fear. The wind will blow left and he going right. It don't matter.
He has a mind of his own.
Yes. My husband said, I don't know what's happening. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a
Exactly.
physiological
They have
response.
Exactly. Just like Veronica said, it's a physiological response that is natural for the body to respond. It's just
Right.
going to happen. You know, I've heard many court cases say, "Well, you got raped. Why did you get pregnant?" What do you mean why? It's just going to happen. I can't stop my eggs from coming down from my
Right.
ovaries. I
Right.
can't stop my body, responding in climax. It's just going to happen. And just because I'm in fear, my body is not just going to automatically shut down.
Exactly.
And I really want to hone in that point because people tend to blame the victim for the responses that their body naturally does.
Right.
And then we shut everything off and we don't say anything,
Right.
about that. And then one of the biggest things for my own particular incident when I was sexually assaulted on my birthday on a date, that just because you're in the act, watch how this is going to work. You're in the act. At any point in time, you say stop or no or both, that should end it there. Just because we're already in it doesn't mean that we should go ahead and just finish it regardless if I'm telling you, to stop or what have you.
Right.
No means no. Stop means stop. No is a complete sentence when you
That's
put a period on the end of
Even
it.
with no period beyond.
Okay.
It's just no, okay? Absolutely. So I think people tend to get it mixed up that, well, I was already doing it, even though I didn't want to do it anymore, and I told him or her that I wanted to stop.
Right.
Well, he had to finish, or she had to finish. Well, at that point, after the no, now it becomes rape.
Right.
It becomes a sexual
Consent
assault.
was taken away.
Exactly. You took my ability to make a choice away, and that occurred with me on my birthday. That I was in this engagement, and when I said, I didn't want to do this anymore, I'm good. For whatever reason, I wanted it to stop, and he continued, and and all of that. And, people basically said to me, well, you were already in it, so he technically didn't do anything to you.
Right.
And so, I just want, exactly. So just some of those myths, because there's a whole host of them, but those are just some of the big myths I think we do as victims. We are always prejudged.
Right.
And that's why and Kanisha, you said you're right. The statistics are not always accurate.
No.
Because the amount of assaults that happen on a regular basis is astronomical.
Yeah.
Never
When-
reported.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Date rape and all of those kinds of things. It just occurs. So
Yeah. Wow. Well said. Well
And can
said.
I piggyback
Yeah,
off what you
sure.
said?
Sure, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry for what happened to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I have sons, and Wendy has sons,
Yes.
and
I
Kanisha
have
has sons
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And my sons are 14, 11. We always have very candid, age-appropriate conversations in our home. One of the conversations I've been having with them for the past 4 years is about consent. And people might think it's too early. I don't think it's too early.
No.
I feel like they should be taught now. And I tell my sons, if you're of sexual appropriate age, and you're engaging in an activity, and the young lady says no, right? I said, what do you do? And my sons, they'll tell you, we stop. And I said, what else do you do? We get up, we get our clothes, and we leave. Right. You leave the room. And I think this goes back to the teaching part, because we always blame the victim, but it's an education thing as well. As parents, as a community, we have to educate the young men and the young women about consent and what it looks like and what it is and how not to violate people's personal space. And so with my own children, I make sure that they know what personal space is, that they're not playing that little game and boys run up and hit a girl on the behind. Take off. No, you don't touch her.
I
Want
just
nobody
had that
touch your mommy like
conversation
that?
with my 12-year-old.
Exactly.
They're doing that in his middle school.
Right.
And so the assistant principal called me because he apparently attacked a girl on her thigh. And I said, son, that's not okay. Now, I had my 2 oldest children at the lunch event.
Okay.
And I did that for a reason.
Right.
I wanted them to understand the importance behind sexual assault and domestic violence.
Exactly.
And so when I was called by his assistant principal and he told me what happened, I sat him down and said, explain to me what what's going on. And
Right.
so he said, well, I didn't really, he tried to downplay it. I just kind of, I said, well, regardless of how you did it, it's inappropriate. You're not supposed to do that.
Exactly.
You keep your hands to yourself.
Exactly.
And I explained to him the how it could turn into something big.
Thank
Right.
you.
You know, and I said, you remember when you went to Mom's launch party and when I got up and I told my story? He said, yeah. I said, how did that make you feel? Upset. I said, okay, so you can't, I don't want you to be that person.
Right.
You know, don't turn into that guy.
Don't.
Right.
So you have to understand that that's inappropriate and
Right.
you cannot do that.
Right. And
So-
we have to educate our children
Yeah.
on what
Yeah.
consent is, what appropriate touch is,
Yeah.
and make sure that they're not perpetrators
Right.
or victims of either. So
Right.
Yeah,
thank you for
especially
bringing that.
yeah,
Yeah.
just to piggyback, you know, my son, I tell him about, you know, your body is your body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no one should ever tell you about how your body moves, functions, or anything like that unless you're dealing with a doctor situation. It's a terminal illness.
Mhm.
Other than that,
Right, right.
there
That's it.
shouldn't be any hands on you that you did not want for yourself. So you
Exactly.
always ask for permission. But I think once we get our children to understand and love their bodies and
Mhm.
understand their bodies, especially our boys,
Right.
that if you don't want to be touched a certain way, guess what? It's the same for the other person.
Mhm.
So I think that's something that's really key. You know, if you got boys and girls, you know, nieces, nephews, whomever, little cousins,
Right.
and you want them to know this. It's about just loving your own body. It's about knowing your body and know when it's consent is
Right.
consent, and no means no, even for themselves.
Yes.
Because then you
Exactly.
want them to be understanding of other people's and their responses as
Mhm.
well.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
love this. Thank you, ladies. All right. So, where can victims, this is for you, Veronica, where can victims get help and what's the first steps to healing?
Where can victims get help? First place, I know Wendy and I would talk about resources, and then also Kinesia at the Dominguez Hills event. They also stated that they have a sexual assault response team.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a victim or you've been victimized, make sure that you contact your police department and tell them you want the SART.
SART.
Right, START team, because they specialize, like on SVU, you watch TV?
Yeah.
They specialize in sexual assault. Also, there are other resources. There's the National Sexual Assault Hotline, and we're going to post this in the comments later. It's 1-800-656-HOPE. There's also RAINN, which is RAINN. So was it Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network. Right? And so they have resources for people who are victims of rape, sexual assault, incest, and all of those good things. And another place is sexual healing, healthysex.com. They have a sexual healing section, or consult your therapist if you're a school age. Yeah, I keep forgetting. You too. I have to show up. If you're school age, talk to a counselor or a teacher. If you are unsure, consult with someone in your clergy or a good friend, and allow them that space for you to start the healing process, and then they can also refer you to resources as well. But we will list these resources in the comments afterwards.
And then, you know, just really quick, one of our audience members talked about TART, T-A-R-T, at your local police department as well.
And what is the acronym for TART again?
The acronym.
What does TART stand for?
No, I was asking.
Oh, SART.
SART. Oh,
SART.
SART. I did too.
Disregard the TART. Disregard TART.
There's no TART. It's SART.
SART.
According to the police department.
Yeah,
For sexual assault.
And DART is for domestic violence.
Yes.
D-A-R-T.
Yes.
Y'all got that?
DART.
Just rewind it back, go for it, and then
Right.
Excuse me.
You want a DART start, but you don't want a TART.
That
They're fun and handy. Make you feel good.
part. They are. All right. So, always.
Love it.
Okay. So, this is for both of you ladies. So, on average, how much is therapy? Is it affordable?
Therapy is pretty much on a case by case basis
Okay.
in regards to the therapist in a private practice.
Mhm.
You got community based services like your DD Hirsch, your Sharps, things
Shields
like that.
for families.
Shields for families. You know, those different organizations, they have various different grants that they will service a number of individuals dealing with various different types of issues. So, you know, you can call those local folks, those wraparound services that will service. And sometimes, a lot of times, they're actually free because it's part of the grant that they're serving. Now, for someone who's in private practice, like myself, you know, if we're on a medical board, we'll go through your insurance. You'll have a copay. Now, if you have to pay out of pocket, some therapists will do a sliding scale based off of your income, or some therapists will have a standing rate regardless of your income that, you know, that will serve, but they have to make sure that they're serving that particular population. My particular population that I serve are middle upper class clients, professionals in the working place, going through employee assistance program. And I do have some cash pay, and I do have some insurance-based clients. There are some individuals that have come to me that they may be working in, you know, corporate America, but they probably don't make over $50,000. So we'll work something out, and I'll have my interns, you know, see them. So, but it definitely all works out. We are connected, KW Essential Services, myself and Keandra Jackson, we're connected with the Victims of Crime program through the District Attorney's Office. Let me tell you all this. Listen, if you had a crime that happened to you, listen what I'm about to say. If you had a crime that happened to you within the last 3 years of that particular date, it has to be within 3 years. You can, and you had a police report, a person got arrested, you can call the Victims of Crime, VOC, you can type it in Google, call the 1-800 number. They will send you to their local agency for you to fill out that application. Once that application has been approved, you will get an authorization number. That authorization number will alert us as a private practitioner. You get up to 40, hear me, 40 free sessions to you. They pay us, but they give you up to 40, okay? And so I just want to let you all know that, because they don't make it, you know, available. They don't market that service, but that service is available. And through Majestic Hearts and the collaboration with KW Essential Services, those of you that come through Majestic Hearts looking for therapy, we're going to be connecting you with that, so that you don't have to worry about having, oh my God, how am I going to be able to pay Wendy?
Right.
You know, Veronica is going to be part of it as well. I don't know why she, because I'm thinking she's a therapist. So, she's going to be running some DV groups, you know, all of that. So be watching out for that. So, but you know, those are great services. You know, another thing that victims of crime will do if you are a victim of sexual assault, stalking. You had a family member that was murdered. A crime was committed to you. You may have been shot or something else or what have you. They not only provide relocation services, they may even be able to help you with your medical bills. So those of you that are victims of a sexual assault and you're going through a case and you can't handle certain medical expenses, you know, going through their program, you probably can see what they can do. Right. Take a little bit. We may want to go for a whole mile, but sometimes those itty bitty steps can mean a whole lot when you're getting healed. I hope that helps.
Yeah. And then the agency that I work for, they take Medi-Cal. And so they don't take victims of crime, but people who come with victims of crime, I've been referring them to Wendy for services, because if you are a victim of a sexual assault or a domestic violence situation, please rewind this thing and listen to what Wendy said. Use Victims of Crime. I have referred people to her through this program. If you are not employed or you are on public assistance, I work for Shields for Family. We see kids in the foster care system. We see adults. We see families, and we see children. And so if you need services for your family, but you are on a strict budget or you're on public assistance, then the agency that I work for will provide services for you and your loved ones.
And what's the name of it?
Shields for Families. I will put it in the comments.
Okay, wonderful. That's wonderful, ladies. And how can our viewers get in touch with you all?
So Wendy, me, you can get in touch with me in so many ways, but consistency is important because I got 3 businesses and I'm not going to confuse you. But as far as for this particular platform, it's KW, the letter K, the letter W, Essential Services with an S.com. All together, kwessentialservices.com. Also, too, that is through Gmail, KW Essential Services, remember with the S, at gmail.com. You can email me. You can get on that website. Look to see what myself and Keandra do. You can also see the psychologist that's on there, Dr. Terry Davis, who's phenomenal, okay? She gets you in, get you out, get you healed, okay? Get your mind right, get you together so you can start doing what you need to do. I personally pick these people. I ain't got time to have people mess up my life.
I know that's right. Okay.
Not that kind of time. That's how you can we will be in our new office June 1st. Yes. You got a good our new space. Oh my God, we got a beautiful suite. We're going to be doing yoga therapy for people who have been through depression, anxiety, and trauma. Yoga, people, yoga.
Yes.
So be looking out for that. Remember, KW Essential Services, we're growing. We're off of Manchester and Sepulveda if you're in Los Angeles, California, sunny Cal. So definitely come on out. Yeah. Oh, God. We got gang members. We got gang members in the background, but we're going to ignore it. She's in
the West Side. I'm just showing what it looks like.
That's not shit for women. That's what it was for.
Okay.
Wonderful women. That's
Right.
right.
I'm a 90s baby. You know, Ice Cube. Shout out to Ice Cube. So we're having a lot of fun here, but that's how you can get a hold of me, and that's enough for me.
Yeah,
Okay, and so I love it when you say, I don't know why I can keep forgetting she a therapist. I'm a life coach as well. And so, 2 different modalities. Please know the people that you bring your mind and your body to. Okay, so for myself, you can visit me at www.prosperwithvch.com, or you can follow me on Instagram because I hang out there a lot. My Instagram handle is prosper_VCH. And you can also find me on Facebook, VCH Prosperity Consulting on Facebook, or email me hello@prosperwithvch.com.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. Well, I appreciate y'all for coming in. Yes,
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
And we're not leaving.
Good. Stay to the end.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll let Veronica and Wendy head out. I'm gonna see. I don't have my comments on, so let me see if we have any comments here, or if let's see if Dr. Edmond did jump on at any moment. So again, I want to encourage you all to visit our website at www.majestic-hearts.com to donate. So again, our goal this year is $50,000. Okay, so that's going toward our first two programs, which is counseling and shelter. So being that we're a new organization, we don't have the funds for a shelter yet. So within the next 2 to 3 years, we do plan on opening our first shelter. So yeah, let's help us get this money in so we can help these victims. So make sure you like our page at Domestic Hearts. Majestic Hearts. Majestic Hearts.org. That's on Facebook as well as Instagram. Majestic Hearts.org. So, so we're going to move right along. I don't think Dr. Regina Edmond ever jumped on. I didn't see her there. So I'm going to move right along because we're already way behind schedule. But it's fine because we're having a ball.
Yes,
and I hope you are too. I hope that you all are learning some things today because I definitely am. So Shout out to our wonderful therapists who just
Oh,
exited. Yes. I love those ladies so much. God has been good. He's been moving in my life. He's been connecting me with some awesome and amazing people. And I'm just so, so forever grateful for that.
We
So,
love you, boo.
I love y'all too. Yes.
It's been a wonderful.
Oh, Lord. We gonna have to watch the
I
color
already
purple one
watched
day.
it. I just seen it in the last 3 years.
Oh,
I just
okay.
found out about it.
Excuse me, guys. I'm fighting the cold. I'm just getting over this. So, all right. So, without further ado, I'd like to bring in our CFO, who is Rochelle Davis. She is a spiritual coach and financial expert. So, not only is April Sexual Assault Awareness Month, it's also Financial Literacy Month. So, Rochelle's going to grace us with some tips and pointers about financial literacy as sexual assault and domestic violence does affect a lot of victims. Many of the victims don't leave because they solely depend on their abusers for, financially. So we're going to bring Rochelle on so she can give us these tips and things. And without further ado, Rochelle Davis.
Thank you. Hold the applause.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I've been knowing this lady for a very, very long time. So almost about 20 years. And she's only 20.
21.
Oh, she's 21 now.
Gotta be able to get it.
21 today.
No, to get into 21 appropriate places. So. She's at least 30.
Yeah, 33 to be exact. I have a birthday coming up. So go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers.
So my name is Rochelle Davis, and I'm a financial professional. I own my own insurance agency called Go Green Insurance Services. We'll be making a launching announcement really, really soon.
Yes.
So we're brand new in the industry as far as an agency is concerned, but I've been a licensed professional now for about 8 years. My passion is actually similar to what Kanisha's is, more so bringing the light back to people's life. I have a nonprofit organization called I Am, which Kanisha sits on that board as our marketing director. And I'm also a spiritual mind coach.
Yes. Get your mind right.
Get your mind right.
Spiritually.
Yes, indeed.
All right, awesome. So, provide a little insight on the correlation between domestic violence and financial stability.
So I had an opportunity to look up on a website called liveboldandbloom.com, and they talked about of the 9 common reasons women stay in abusive relationships, financials came in at number 8.
Wow.
So I think it's interesting that, when you look at women as a whole, throughout time, it's been up until the recent years, we've all been more of the husband or the male being the ultimate provider, the primary provider. So women haven't been in a place of power to have control of money.
Right.
So.
Right. Well said. Absolutely. And I know a lot of women do, especially, I'm sure domestic violence was a lot more common back in the day.
Right.
When, we as women, the gender role situation, where we as women would stay home, cook, clean, take care of kids.
Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah, I'm not about that life. I mean, I could clean and take care of the kids, but I gotta work too, But you have no, but you have women who have been victimized. I'm sure a lot more then because they solely depended on their husbands. So they have full control over everything.
Yes, indeed.
So I'm about a partnership. I need a partnership. I'm not about that dictatorship life. So
Right. Nice.
I love it.
All right. So can you educate the victims on how to become financially independent of his or her abuser?
Sure. So one of the things that, I've taken the time to really understand is placing myself in that perspective, not just as a victim turning survivor, but as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And full recognition. Before I talk about the money part of everything, there's this responsibility. I think that what a lot of the conversations and dialogue as it relates to any type of abuse is missing.
Mm-hmm.
We're forgetting who we are.
Absolutely.
We're forgetting exactly who we are.
That's where it
So
starts.
one of the components that I utilize in what I do is, healing through wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
How important it is for you to recognize who you really are, the deepest part of yourself.
Mhm.
Like, we all know we're a child of the Most High. We
Oh,
all
yeah.
know we're a child of God.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think about the qualities of God, the qualities of the Most High, what are some of those qualities? Like, let's just have a chit chat for a second. What are some of the qualities that you know the divine spirit, God, to be? What is that? What is that for you?
Light.
Light.
Love.
Love.
Yeah, agape love.
Agape love,
Mhm.
unconditional love,
Mm.
right? Peace,
Yes.
harmony,
Yes. Yeah.
patience, kindness,
Yes.
divinity,
Yeah.
effortless, flow.
Yeah.
It's all those great words. Abundance, that's prosperity.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Help me
All
name
that.
a few more. What else we got?
Honey, you then went down the steps.
She
So
did.
it's
We
good.
can keep going
Happy
because
God.
but check
Covered
this
them all.
out. But when you think about it, God has the idea of what God
Infinite.
is infinite. It's
Mhm.
boundless. Like
Yeah.
you can't just sum it up into a paragraph of words.
Right.
Because when I'm looking at you, I'm seeing God. When I'm touching this table, I know that this table came from somebody who had a mind of God because it created this table.
Right.
Right?
Creator.
So when we think about those
Yeah.
things, asking yourself if those qualities of God, if they're showing up in your life,
Mhm.
that'll help you answer some of the questions about where you are.
Yes.
And then, we have to be in the understanding that every single time we don't feel those qualities of God, we are stepping out of integrity with ourselves when we
Wow.
allow anyone
Yeah.
to mistreat us in any capacity, because the divine right of the human nature is freedom.
Yeah.
So abuse, assault, domestic violence, all those things, the awareness behind it is bringing back the power to yourself so that
Oh,
you
yeah.
remember. If you just can remember that you are an essence of the divine spirit, you won't let anybody mistreat you.
Mm-mm.
Right?
Not at all. Say that again.
Right?
Say it again for the people in the back.
Say it again for the people in
For
the
the
back.
people in the back.
If you remember who you really are, everybody that's listening out there in the audience, are you guys with me?
Yes.
Never forget who you really are, because when you forget, it allows people to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
But if you walk in the light of divinity and you remember that every step that you take, as we call it, God ordained,
Mhm.
ordered by the divine,
Mhm.
God's not going to send you that mess.
Huh.
Right.
God is not going to send you that mess, right?
That's true.
But when you know yourself, the foundation of your truest nature, you're a child of God. You have this thing that rightfully everyone has. It's called volition, free will, right? Your freedom to choose.
Right.
So when we're thinking of the relationships that we're in and the circumstance that are behind domestic violence and sexual assault situations, we need to understand you chose. You can choose. You can choose in and you can choose out.
Out. Yeah.
Right? So it's just a matter, what do you like to choose? So when we look at that, the ownership that everything in my life is because of the choices that I make, that puts you a step closer to healing, because it's recognition.
Mhm.
It's awareness. I know if the therapist that spoke prior to myself, I know that in this line of work that we're in, we have to look at how the structure of Alcoholics Anonymous is.
Mhm.
The first thing that they teach you is recognition of yourself,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Ownership of it,
Yeah.
because if you recognize that it's you can't
Right.
say this situation caused me to do this.
Right.
You can't say it's Kenesha's fault.
Mhm.
It's my mother's fault.
Right.
No, it's my fault. When we use the word fault, we use that very loosely. I encourage you guys to look at the rules to being human. It's an awesome, awesome list of things that, all of us, I know I've shared that with you
Mhm.
before. When we remember those things, that sanity part of our mind, that's what helps us understand the money component. Because if you are not here, you can't be there.
Right.
It's just not going to work that way.
Right.
Because how can you think about saving and getting out of a situation financially when you don't even feel good about yourself?
Right.
You're not even happy. The last thing you're thinking about is money. You're just
Right.
I just want to be happy.
Right.
So if you get happy first, then everything else falls into place.
Right.
The money is one of them. So if I could just continue on with that, Kenesha, because I stay ready, so I got to get ready.
All right, sugar free.
All right.
That one woman again.
Right. So if we just, take the time. This audience, you guys, is amazing. I wish you guys were here. We could show them to you, but we're not going to do that. Because we didn't get any NDAs in place. And our treasurer, Madeline, makes sure that we do all of this.
Right. Any liabilities, okay?
So let's talk about saving. So one of the most important things is you think about saving is, if I was just to ask you, Kanisha, like, what's the most important asset or the biggest asset in your life? Right now.
My children.
Your children. Let's ask some of the audience.
Yeah.
Audience, what would you guys say is the most important asset in your life? What's your biggest asset?
My biggest or most important?
Your biggest asset.
My house.
Your house.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
My biggest asset is my house. Yeah.
Okay, so when we think about assets, we're thinking something outside of us.
Right.
Mhm.
Right? By definition, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket.
Mhm.
So who puts money in your pocket? The house or yourself?
Me.
So who is your biggest asset?
Myself.
Yourself is the
Okay.
biggest
Now we
asset,
just
right?
learned something again, guys.
So now when we think, our self is our biggest asset, now that we recognize what that means, so that means what? You love yourself so much, right? We know you love, you have children?
Yes.
You have, how many children you have?
I have the tribe of Judah, guys.
She
so,
has the tribe.
I've
whole bunch of them,
I have
man.
12
Wakanda.
children. No, I'm playing. We have 5 boys and a girl.
She has 5 boys and a girl, right? So, honey.
Honey.
So
I have
every
5 kings and a queen.
Oh, now that's what I'm talking about. So let's just take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath together on that. And exhale, just let it all in his face. And just know that God gave her something that he couldn't give me. Amen. I just
More than you can bear.
There it is. Say amen.
Right.
So especially when you have children, we're thinking, so think about that. The most common answer was our house, right?
Mhm.
So we have children. Our house being the biggest asset. Is the house paid off? Almost,
In
right?
25 years.
In 25
okay.
years, there it is,
That's
right?
almost.
So when you look at it in 25 years, it'll be paid off. If you, an example, were removed from the picture of your family,
Mhm.
could that house stand there?
Yeah.
So it's very, very seldom that I get to hear a confident yes. So what I teach people is to understand that knowing that you are the biggest asset, protect it first.
Mm.
Your
Yes.
physical self,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
that means what? This is a conversation that most people in our community don't want to have.
Right.
We think life insurance is about dying.
Right.
It's not. Life insurance is a tool
Right.
that's used to
Right.
protect. So what a lot of people don't understand, like if I was to ask you, what do you think life insurance means? What does it mean to you? Tell me what your definition of life insurance is.
Well, essentially, at first glance, I would say to help prepare a burial or, death. I need to bury my whomever, so it's going to help to pay for funeral expenses and
Okay.
X, Y, and Z.
That's normally the answer that I
Yes.
hear. What about you? In the
On
audience,
average.
anyone want to raise their hand? Let me just see. It's a whole bunch of you guys. Okay, you, the beautiful lady right here in the front.
Yeah, I consider it an asset as well because you can use it for protection. I don't always think of it as something in the demise of myself,
Right.
right? But it's a protection of my family, protect them from liability, protect them from burden, and things of that nature.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's what we should think of
How we
first.
should think, yeah.
Is the burden that we leave behind,
Say
right? So think of life insurance as you're a construction worker with a tool belt.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so when I'm talking about this tool belt, I'm gonna go broad with it, okay?
Mhm.
This tool belt, this life insurance tool belt, we're gonna call life insurance a tool belt. So in this conversation forward, it's called a tool belt.
Okay.
It includes a death benefit. It includes the right type of tool belt, includes cash accumulation, right? Another tool, part of the tool belt is tax advantage, meaning tax-free money. See, y'all mad at
That's my
Trump.
favorite word.
You guys are mad at
Tax-free.
Trump. He understands the game.
I love tax-free
And
money.
we just need to make sure that we teach the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Living benefits.
Mhm.
Do you guys know what living benefits is? Do you know that in the African American community, we are 70% at risk of heart attack, stroke, and cancer?
Yes.
Wow. I wonder why that is.
Huh? Don't talk about them hot cheese.
Diet. Diet.
Institutionalized racism.
Hello. That's for another live event,
Okay, yeah,
right?
we'll save that.
We'll save that for the next one.
I'm sorry.
But that recognition of living benefits, meaning there are tool belts available that if you are diagnosed with a heart attack, stroke, cancer, end stage renal failure, there's all these other things that we know we actually survive from. How about that?
Right.
They say 70% of us get a heart attack. The ratio is anywhere from 60 to 65% people survive it. Not everybody dies from a heart attack.
Right.
So now my
True.
question to the audience, or even to you, Kanisha, if that were your picture, you had a heart attack, God forbid it happened today, could you go back to work tomorrow? Do the bills keep coming?
Yes.
Oh, so how do those things get paid?
Through the living benefit.
Through the living. Now that's the answer that I give to you. Amen. I say to that. She is listening and paying attention. That's the student of the game. That's the game of it, right? Right? So living benefits, it's important that if you do not have that attached in your life insurance policy, talk to Kanisha. She'll find me for you, just for you.
No, you just tell the people.
Oh, I'm going to tell you too. I'm going to tell you too. And then there's this thing called compound interest. Most of us don't even know the difference between simple and compound interest, or we don't even know what it is. We're just like, interest, what is that? I know it's something they charge me.
Right.
Yes, on everything.
But on everything, you take a deep breath, interest.
Right.
You blink your eyes, interest, right? So if you look at that, if you really understood compound interest, you would know right now in everything that we do, paying out is compounded against us. Like an example, your credit card, compound interest, right? A lot of people don't know that. You're thinking, oh, I got interest free. When you look at your credit card statement, right? If you have the 0% for 1 year, that's great. But guess what these financial institutions are doing to you? This is what's causing a lot of the separation between someone wanting to leave out of a situation and someone who can't. Because they didn't understand the basic principle behind that card. Because guess what? In colleges, when you step on your college campus, the first thing, there's a tent right outside admission.
Yep.
It says Visa, MasterCard,
Oh, yeah.
all these companies.
Or I know my first credit card I got outside of Domino's. Okay, listen, they were
Domino's Pizza?
Domino's Pizza. They had the tent outside of Domino's Pizza
Wow.
for us college students who didn't have no money.
Interesting.
Broke college students. Yes.
So my first question is, if I know you're a college broke student, why would I offer you a credit card? You ain't got no job.
to collect on that interest.
It's called making you a permanent slave forever.
Exactly.
Because these companies know that you don't understand simple and compound interest.
That's
so
why I
guess
cut my
what?
card up. I never
Yes,
used
that ignorance will catch up with you.
Yeah, it
so it's
will.
important for us to understand that tool belt, the money that grows inside of a tool belt, like life insurance, has this thing called compound interest, right? And you can go to any of your local banks and walk up to the teller and ask them, do you know the difference? And I can guarantee you 9 out of 10 times, they have no idea. The only reason why I know, because I ask my teller all the time. I sure do. Income rider. There's also this thing called an income rider that you can attach as an additional component inside your life insurance and an immediate estate. So, excuse me, an example, when we make our transition, if we didn't have anything or proper protection in place, everything that you own has to go through probate, is what they call it. But if you have a financial tool like life insurance in place, what happens is then your family can take that money and take care of the responsibilities. When you don't have life insurance, that's when you're scrambling around trying to do dinners, ask people for help, fish fry donation.
Yeah.
Oh, just to be clear, people, GoFundMe is not life insurance.
Girl.
So please, do your family, yourselves a favor. Protect yourself while you're young. Make sure that you have the right protection and be educated on the products that you have in place, okay? So, pay yourself first is the next thing. Pay yourself first. Make a sacrifice. So, if you are the woman at home, let's say an example, and your husband's the primary breadwinner, that little $25, $35, $50 that they give us to get our hair done, our nails done. If you really want to get out, you'll find a way. You won't find an excuse. And every dime that comes across your hand, you will get crafty. You will start saving that money. Because let's just say you're a high income earner. Let's say it's $100,000. 10% is $10,000. You can move with $10,000.
Yes,
sure, right? In addition to the beautiful support that's being provided through Majestic Hearts and all these other organizations that we've heard from today. Use your resources. Use them all. Use them well. And I encourage everybody. Money isn't the answer to everything, but money can put you on track to a place that you're trying to be. And again, turning it all the way back around when you're understanding that the ownership of the experience that you're in is something that you need to be okay with and just say, you know what, I made a bad choice. You have sisters, you have organizations, you have therapists, you have friends and family that'll be more than open to helping you. It's when we don't know. We can't help you when we don't know.
And you have to be ready to get the help. Because people, I know in my situation, I went to an all-girls school down in North Carolina, and I had a big sister. And so my big sister was there for me during that time. And I would call her. She had a car. She had her own place. I would call her wee hours of the morning. Jazzy, can you please come get me? And Jazzy, if you're watching, thank you, girl. I appreciate you. And
Yes,
love
thank
so
you,
much.
Jazzy.
You guys actually have the same. I think your birthdays are a day apart. So she's a Taurus.
She has to be off.
Yes. All right, we got another Taurus in the house.
My birthday is Sunday. See how the divine works?
Okay, sorry, we
I'm
just got
sorry.
sidetracked, guys.
Somebody in the audience got the same birthday. That's just so exciting.
Okay, so I would call her wee hours of the night and ask her to come pick me up. Jazzy, can you come get me? Can you come get me? She did that about 2 or 3 times, and I would go back to my abuser. And so after a while, she stopped talking to me because she was getting up. I was calling her. She was asleep. She would get up every time and come pick me up, and the next day I was right back with him. So you guys be ready to leave. People can't help you if you're not ready.
Right.
So just think about that, let that marinate, and just make sure you don't burn any bridges in the process. Okay, people's time is valuable, and people don't like wasting their time. So just make sure you're ready to leave. Even when contacting us, make sure you're ready to leave so that we can help you.
And I'd like to offer just one last word for everyone. In those moments of tension, in those moments of, you're feeling like it's just coming down on you, where you don't have enough strength, or you feel like you're, behind a wall. I encourage everybody, just close your eyes and take a deep breath. And in that moment that you're taking that breath, you're in recognition that breath that you're taking is a reminder that God is everywhere present.
Yes.
That God is with you, that God is as you. And the moment that you can accept that and be in harmony with that, the freedom will come to you.
Yes.
Because now the inspiration to chase your freedom, not as if it ran away from you, but to be more in alignment with the freedom will get you closer to your own freedom of that environment and that circumstance that you're in.
Yes. Wonderful. And can you tell the viewers how they can get in touch with you?
All right, so don't stalk me.
Stalker, guys. Stalker.
You can stalk me. I don't mind. I actually encourage people to call me directly because I understand that, having a conversation about money or even life insurance or planning is very personal.
Yes, it is.
So you can reach me at 310-213-4903. I'm also, as I mentioned, am the CVO, the Chief Visionary Officer of an organization called I Am. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. I am 1112. You can email me at iam1112@gmail.com as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on.
Thank you, honey. I love you.
I love you too.
And I'm so proud of you.
This is what Majestic Hearts is.
It is. Oh, you know what I learned today?
What?
Speak of Majestic Hearts. This is so in alignment with what I learned when I spoke today at Guidance.
Yes, how was that?
Oh my God, it was so beautiful. Christ, the divine vibration was our topic. So I just talked about the pulsation of the universe and the pulsation of our heart, and how once we're in sync with that, that allows for the projection of our beautiful reality to come forth. So I want to show you something that an elder had taught me that we could also share with each other. And even with some of the therapists in the audience, this may be a tool that you could also use to help people connect with you. So open your arms. Now we're going to do this, called a heart-to-heart hug. Okay. And in this heart-to-heart hug, we're going to take my heart and I'm going to come close to yours and I'm going to hug you. And then we're going to take a deep breath when I tell you.
Oh, that's just hearing it.
Okay. We're going to take a deep breath together. You guys in the audience, you guys feel free to practice this as well. So you guys can feel, okay? So we're going to hug and I'm going to tell you to take a deep breath together, and then I'm going to ask you to exhale. But don't let go of me when we exhale. Okay. You're going to feel it too, okay? Okay. I believe it.
Scooch it.
Take a deep breath. Release.
Oh, that looks so relaxing.
It feels good. It feels like our heart became one.
Oh, you lay your baby on your chest.
Yes. So when you sync yourself with everyone around you, we can heal this word with love. Sexual assault, domestic violence, all of those things will diminish into thin air because who we are and what God sent us here for is to be the example of the perfection of what God is.
Yes.
So if it isn't that, we're missing the point. So I encourage everybody, return to self.
Yes.
I
All right, so we have one more person to bring on. I know we are so behind schedule, but it's all for wonderful, wonderful, wonderful reason. All right, Yolanda, I'm going to bring you on. Yolanda is she is the director of a a sexual assault organization called Resolve to Rise. She actually just had her second annual symposium yesterday, so I know she's quite pooped from that, but I appreciate you anyhow, Yolanda, for taking time to come on. So I'm going to invite you on right now. Hopefully you are somewhere near your phone so we can get you in here. Okay, girlfriend? And I hope we don't have any technical difficulties again, like we did with our attorney, Andrea. After a while, wasn't able to hear her. So hopefully we can get Yolanda on without any issues. All right, so again, guys, make sure you visit our website, www.majestic-hearts.com, www.majestic-hearts.org. There is a hyphen or dash, whichever you prefer to refer to it as, between Majestic and Hearts. So go ahead and visit our page, like our pages, and go to our website and hit that donation button. Let's get these donations in. Also, if you would like a Majestic Heart shirt, similar to, or not similar, but such as the one that I'm wearing, the shirts they start at $15, starting from sizes small to large, and then extra large and up are $20. I do have some shirts on hand. If you guys want to call me, we can make arrangements to meet up, and you can purchase your shirt there for a donation of $20 or $15 for the smaller sizes. Or you can go onto our website as well, www.majestic-hearts.org, and you can go ahead and purchase your shirt from there. Okay, Yolanda, I don't see you, girlfriend. I need you to come on because we really want to hear from you. She's also conducting a vigil tomorrow in honor of sexual assault survivors, or the ones who have fallen as well. So I definitely want her to speak to you guys about that. Oh, my light just went off. I think the battery died. I hope you guys can see me. Let's get this. Okay, so yeah, so anyhow, I definitely want to get Yolanda on. I'm waiting for her to get on now, but she doesn't get on within the next minute or so. I know we're behind schedule and she probably has things to do. She is a very, very busy woman. So if she doesn't come on, then I will go ahead and close out this webinar. So just bear with us one moment, guys. Hi, babe. You can see me? I know I'm I'm really close to the camera right now, but my phone is kind of far away from me, so. All right, Yolanda. I don't see you getting on, girlfriend. So maybe next time. Hi, Sue. Thank you for watching. Hey, James. Hey, Nana. It's my mother-in-law, Zipporah. Hey, guys. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you guys so much. All right. So, thanks, Dave. All right. I know y'all loud. It's rude. They act like I'm not live no more. It's all good. I love them so much. Those are my girls over there. No, I'm closing out. I was waiting for Yolanda to come on, but she's not getting on. We're behind schedule. She probably has something to do. So I'm not gonna worry about it. But you guys, when you get a chance, go to, I believe her Facebook page is Resolve to Rise. So check her out. That's a nonprofit for victims of sexual assault. So she specifically specializes in that under her nonprofit, Resolve to Rise. So I'm going to close out. So first, I'd like to thank all of my beautiful coming on. I appreciate y'all so much for coming on and oh Lord. Okay, thank you for coming on. Also my viewers who are in attendance virtually. I appreciate you guys for joining us today for our event. And thank you, Johnson A. I appreciate you, girl. Yeah, so I just wanted to thank everyone, the viewers, the panelists, the board of directors, my PR company, Underground PR, as well as our donors and supporters. So thank you so much for spending time with us. I know this was a very long Facebook Live video. However, it's been very informative and enlightening and educational. So I'm gonna get out of here because I am starving and it is time to eat. Without further ado, we shall holler at you all later. God bless, and we love you all.
Holla!